Episode 4 Traces of the Mastermind. Upon returning to Bonghai, Professor Liang was immediately sent to the military hospital. Under careful treatment and nursing, he gradually regained his vitality. Leng Xue was placed in a secluded, safe house to recover. Although her notes had been burned, she managed to reconstruct part of the core content of the words of Gimir using her extraordinary memory. In the safe house, Leng Xue sat on the sofa and spoke slowly.
The words of Gimir records the methods of creating the corpse fungus and mentions an ancient organization called the Black Lotus Society. Founded in 1101 AD, this organization focuses its research on the art of immortality. The spirit-quelling sect is merely a branch under their command. The leader of the Black Lotus Society is known as the Lotus Lord, a figure shrouded in mystery. No one knows his true name or appearance, or even if he is still alive. White Sakura and Master Chengyi were once core members of the society.
Liu Zhifei recalled the abbot's words. Their ultimate goal was to use the fungus and gene keys to create super soldiers and establish a new civilization. Just then, General Guan entered with a briefing.
"We've found a key lead on the Black Lotus Society. Let's convene to map out a combat plan. Reliable intelligence confirms they have a secret base in Southeast Asia, hidden deep within the treacherous jungles of the Golden Triangle. The latest intel suggests that location houses a new fungus cultivation site, and likely the complete words of Gimir as well. We head to the Golden Triangle immediately."
Lang Feng stood up, his expression cold.
"We will destroy the society and avenge those who died by their hands."
3 days later, Liu, Xiabahe, Lan Feng, and Leng Xue took a military transport plane and, under the cover of night, secretly paratrooped onto the edge of the Golden Triangle's virgin forest. The Golden Triangle is a land of dense jungles and toxic mists, overrun by drugs and chaos. Various armed factions occupy the region year-round, rendering the law virtually non-existent. Equipped with advanced gear and drawing on their extensive field experience, the foe moved rapidly toward the Black Lotus base. The jungle was fraught with peril. Swarms of insects followed them like shadows. Giant venomous snakes lurked in the dark, and lethal threats were hidden everywhere.
"Everyone, stay on high alert. The Black Lotus Society is cunning. They've likely set deadly traps throughout the jungle."
Liu Zhifei led the way through the thicket, hacking away branches with his machete. His eyes were sharp, constantly scanning the surroundings as the team advanced quickly. While moving with total focus, Leng Xue suddenly stepped into empty space. In an instant, she lost her balance and fell into a trap hidden in the grass, which was filled with sharpened bamboo stakes. Leng Xue fell onto the stakes, which pierced her calf, and blood gushed out. "Sister!" Lan Feng cried out, jumping into the pit to carefully lift her out.
"We need to treat this wound immediately. The jungle mist will cause an infection."
Xiabahe grabbed her kit, cleaning the wound with antiseptic before tightly wrapping it with a tourniquet. Suddenly, a group of armed men burst from the distant trees. Dressed in camouflage and heavily armed, they appeared to be members of the Black Lotus Society.
"Capture them!"
The gunmen shouted. They raised their weapons and fired at the team. Liu Zhifei and the others quickly found cover and returned fire. Lan Feng's sniper rifle proved invaluable. He fired with unerring precision, and with every crack of the rifle, another gunman slumped to the ground. Xiao Beihe on Leng Xue unleashed a torrent of fire from their submachine guns, weaving a dense net of lead that successfully suppressed the enemy's attack. Liu Zhifei gripped his military blade, facing the swarming enemies without fear. Several gunmen were cut down by his blade before they could even react. The intense battle lasted over half an hour, as both sides fought with everything they had. In the end, the attackers were completely wiped out. However, Leng Xue, hampered by her leg injury, was unable to dodge in time during the chaos, and was killed in action. The three survivors laid Leng Xue to rest and pushed forward with heavy hearts. Before nightfall, they finally reached the Black Lotus secret base, a castle hidden in a valley. The castle walls were over 10 meters high and riddled with firing slits. In front of the gates, dozens of armed men patrolled, forming a tight defensive line.
A direct assault won't work.
Liu Zhifei observed the layout from a high vantage point.
We move at night. We'll slip in once they're asleep.
In the dead of night, the three drifted into the castle like ghosts, navigating through a complex web of corridors. They finally located a central control room. Approaching swiftly with silenced weapons, a few flashes of cold steel later, the enemies inside were neutralized. Liu Zhifei ordered.
Beihe, plant the timed explosives and destroy this place.
He then led Lin Fen to search for the super soldier lab. Once they found the fungus lab console, Liu Zhifei and Leng Feng quickly set the charges. They then retreated to the extraction point to wait for Xia Baihe. After setting the charges in the control room, Xia Baihe joined the others, and the three quickly evacuated beyond the blast radius.
Detonate!
Liu Zhifei ordered. Xia Baihe pressed the remote. Boom, boom, boom. Asterisk, the pre-planted bombs exploded, and the castle was instantly engulfed in flames. With the destruction of the lab console, the super soldiers went completely out of control, rampaging through the castle. They left a trail of blood and screams in their wake. The team took advantage of the chaos to escape, but as they neared the exit, they realized they were surrounded by Black Lotus forces. In the castle square, hundreds of well-equipped gunmen stood in formation with heavy weapons, staring coldly at the trio.
Looks like it's a fight to the death today.
Liu Zhifei gripped his weapon, showing no fear as he faced the enemy. In his heart, Lan Feng had already turned his grief into a vengeful fire.
I will avenge Leng Xue. They will pay in blood.
The three pressed together in a tight defensive circle, ready to begin the final struggle for survival. Suddenly, a heavily armed man spoke. He pulled out a satellite video communicator and said curtly,
Someone wants to talk to you.
Liu Zhifei paused, his brow furrowing. Who could it be at a time like this? He activated the screen, and a familiar face appeared. The three were stunned. Liu Zhifei's voice trembled as he spoke.
General Guan, how is it you?
On the screen, General Guan said coldly,
Night Wolf, surrender. Otherwise, you won't leave this place alive.
Liu Zhifei and his team stared blankly at the general.
Why?
Liu Zhifei asked. Guan replied calmly,
There is no why. People just see the world differently. The spirit-quelling sect was just a discarded pawn. I am the true leader of the Black Lotus Society.
You betrayed your faith.
Shaba shouted in rage.
Ha ha! Betrayal. You're wrong, Bai Yi. I never betrayed anything. I only want to make my organization stronger.
Lan Feng stared at Guan with icy eyes.
You were the one who kidnapped my sister, weren't you?
Guan glanced at him, dot called sword.
I admit I underestimated you. Leng Xue has a talent for deciphering ancient scripts, and I needed her to focus on the scriptures, so I had to make her disappear. You're impressive for finding her, but your luck ends here. If you don't surrender, this castle will be your grave. You have 3 minutes to decide. If you persist in this folly, don't blame me for disregarding our old ties.
It all became clear to Liu Zhifei. Every bit of intel and every move arranged by General Guan was part of a death trap. Better to be shattered jade than intact pottery. This is our baseline. Retreating would fail our fallen comrades. Compromising would desecrate our mission. 3 minutes passed in a flash. General Guan, knowing their decision, gave the order without hesitation.
Annihilate them!
The gunmen launched a ferocious assault. Bullets raining down like a storm. The roar of heavy weapons was deafening as smoke filled the castle. The 3 fought back with everything they had, engaging in a life-and-death struggle within the narrow corridors. 24 hours later, the battle raged on. The 3 continued to strike back, though they were covered in wounds and their strength was spent. Even so, they refused to surrender. Just as Liu Zhifei and his team were about to fall, the roar of helicopters echoed from the distant sky. A glimmer of hope instantly surged in their eyes. Reinforcements have arrived. It turned out that after the military district detected General Guan's conspiracy, they reacted swiftly. First, they secretly arrested General Guan, and then dispatched special forces to rescue them.
It's the military's special forces.
An exhausted Xiao Baihe said excitedly.
The military sent special forces to save us.
From the air, the helicopters first unleashed a frantic barrage on the armed men below. The special forces then launched a rapid assault on the remaining enemies, heavily surrounding the remnants of the Black Lotus Society. Ultimately, under the overwhelming firepower of the special forces, the Black Lotus gunmen were swiftly annihilated, leaving the castle square strewn with corpses. After the battle ended, Liu Zhifei and the other 2 leaned against the castle wall, gasping for breath, although their wounds were still bleeding incessantly. Victorious smiles appeared on their faces. Lan Feng placed Leng Xue's body onto the helicopter, tears slipping from the corners of his eyes.
Rest in peace, sister. I will make everyone who hurt you pay the price in blood.
A fully recovered Professor Liang took a special helicopter flight to the castle. Looking at a scene before him, he sighed with emotion.
His battle that has lasted for years finally come to an end.
Liu Zhifei, however, shook his head slightly and said with a grim expression,
It is not completely over yet. As long as the words of Gimir exists, the crisis will never truly vanish.
We must defend the complete version of the words of Gimir. Only by completely destroying it can we eliminate future troubles forever.
Xia Baihe walked over and said. Following the clues Leng Xue left behind before her death, Liu and the others finally found the complete words of Gimir and the notes Guan had left behind in a secret chamber deep within the castle. The notes detailed the improved formula for the corpse fungus and the trial plan for super soldiers. Fortunately, Guan was successfully stopped by them before he had time to implement his plan.
These materials must be completely destroyed. They absolutely cannot fall into anyone's hands.
With that, Xiao Baihe threw the complete words of Gimir and the research notes into the fire barrel, watching as they turned to ashes in the flames. At the commendation ceremony of the Binhai Military District, Liu Zhifei, Xia Baihen, and Lang Feng stood on the rostrum, receiving the combat honor medals awarded by the military commanders. Thunderous applause erupted from the audience. Yet, standing on the stage, Liu Zhifei felt no joy in his heart. The sacrifices of Leng Xue and Count Ou's comrades weighed on him like heavy stones, leaving him breathless. After the commendation ceremony ended, Liu Zhifei, with a cold and stern expression, walked alone toward the rooftop of the military building. He tightly clutched an anonymous letter in his hand. Inside the envelope was only a single photograph. A woman in a black combat uniform stood under a tree in the tropical rainforest, her eyes aloof. After Liu Zhifei examined it carefully, his expression turned to shock.
Lin Jiayin, how could she still be alive?
On the back of the photo was a single line.
Liu Zhifei, 为我们的干